It's been a crazy week so far, and I'm glad to join you once again with another edition of 21 Minutes with KKB. Of course, amidst the brouhaha, amidst the noise, we bring to you an exclusive piece with someone who has seen it all and has indeed been in that very position. One of the gentlemen who is said to have engaged in one act or the other finds himself in. Of course, the story is still unfolding, so a lot more may happen as Anas Aremeyaw Anas continues to show that very explosive documentary, number 12. My name is Kwabena Chencheni Boating. I'm returning a jiffy to introduce my guests for today. Stay with us. Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe has been FA president here in Ghana, and he has seen it all. Of course, he did hand over to Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, who is now in the news for all kinds of reasons. Of course, it's early days yet, so it will be premature for anyone to pass judgment on what really the situation is or is eventually going to be. But Dr. Nyaho Tamakloe is my guest, and we're going to speak on quite a number of issues. I'm glad to have him as my guest for today. Doc, good morning, and thanks for
good morning.
Thanks for having us today in your house.
It's a pleasure.
Really grateful to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure.
Number 12. Has there always been a 12th man in this entire football fraternity? I mean, we all go in with the passion, with the love, but apparently there was an invisible hand somewhere. Is that the case?
What number 12 are you really referring to?
Okay, so number 12 in this case has to do with the documentary by Anas Aremeyaw Anas on the rots, or the seeming rots in Ghanaian football. Have you even had a chance to watch it, the documentary?
Well, I've seen quite a couple of Anas, what do you call it, investigative work. Okay. From 1 to 12. 12 just a little. So where is 11? You are a journalist, I want to find out from you. Where is number 11?
We may have to find out from Anas. We may have to find out from Anas.
It is important you do that.
But in specific reference to this very one that uncovers so much, should I say, rots in Ghanaian football, has that always been the case?
I won't say so. You know, let's get the history of the, in quote, the presidency. Formerly it was called chairman, the seat was a chairman. Now we call it president. Right down from Ohinijan's time, when I was just a little boy, we've had a lot of distinguished Ghanaians. Ohinijan all the line. Few names I can remember. H.P. Nyamite, I think S.K. Mino was there too. Akayinsu. These are very notable figures in society then. And what we saw at that time was discipline and pride. You can't discuss, or we never heard any of them talking about money. You are the FA. I was lucky to get closer to Nyamite, and then when I became House of Folk chairman, he was very instrumental in getting me there, himself and Tommy Thompson. Now, what we see now is a bit strange. I personally was stunned when I saw some of the pictures. But you can see that it's been a recent culture, if I will use the word. Because when I left the FA, I didn't really follow what was going on there that much. But this particular expose by Anas tells me that there's a lot of rot there, a lot.
You were FA president, you resigned at a point.
Yes, I did. And I remember what led to the resignation was that when I came in and took over from Ben Kofi, the late Ben Kofi, may he rest in peace. Ben whispered into my ears, he said, "Look, Doc, there is a lot of problem at this place." In fact, he name it a snake pit.
The GFA is a snake pit?
Yeah. And I laughed. Because I knew whatever challenges they have there, I can surmount it. So I resumed work. And then within a short period, I noticed that Ben Kofi was right. Very short period.
So there were really snakes there?
Oh, yeah. So I said, look, I'm a Democrat, so let me do it democratically. Luckily, then I had a very good minister of youth and sports in the person of late Kojo Banredu. Okay. Very, very good minister. So we discussed it casually, and I told him I'll get a memo for him to have a look. If he agrees, there must be certain structural changes there. So Kojo gave me the green light. I prepared a memo. Then just before he even saw the memo, it got leaked. And then there was hue and cry from the executive committee there then. And all sort of swearings and everything possible. But I didn't really know them that much. So I took them to court. There was all this stress that you can't take the FA to court. I took them to court. It was ruled by the judge that they can be brought to court. I won the first case. The second case, they started maneuvering. I got really fed up. I must say, I didn't just get fed up. It's quite interesting what happened. I remember one time President Kufuor called me. He said, Nyaho, you have been doing very well at this place. And lately, it appears there are some skirmishes, at that place. I said, oh, sir, this is what exactly is happening. So he said, okay. He called this man. I've forgotten his name. One of his advisors, who the Owusu Ansah, late Owusu Ansah. He called Owusu Ansah and said, Owusu Ansah should have a chat with me so that we can straighten things there. By then the case was already in court. And I was determined to fight them. No. Unfortunately, Kojo Ban was removed from that ministry to finance. And Yao Safomaf was brought in as I've known Yao very well. I thought we were going to have a very good coordination. But it turned out to be something different. Yao, for lack of a better word, if I would say, was terrified. I think he was frightened about the executive council of the GFA. So he was trying to talk me out of the court case and even talk me out of the FA position. I got mad with him. He's alive, you can ask him. I was mad with him, left his office, banged the doors and left his office. Went straight to my consulting room, wrote a resignation letter, gave it to a messenger to be sent to them. In less than 2 hours, I had a call from BBC. And it was on the news. So this is what led to my resignation.
So you're saying Yao Safomafo?
Oh, yes.
He knew about the rot at the GFA at the time?
No, I'm not saying he knew about the rot. What I said was
he was scared of it.
I thought knowing him well, like the support I had from Kojo Banredu, I thought he could be very strong minister. So I would really change what is happening at the FA. He knew that there was a lot of rot there. That there's no doubt about it. He knew. But
he was not bold enough to.
He wasn't at all bold. And that's really surprised me. And what really made me mad was he was trying to talk me out of the case. Oh, leave them and But I remember one thing that President Kufuor told me when he wanted to appoint me to this FA place. That was in Cape Coast. By then we had a regional meeting of the New Patriotic Party. National Congress really, but it took place in Cape Coast. So I was seated with President Kufuor. I said, Nyaho, this place is a very, very difficult place, but I know football is nosediving, and with your experience, I'm sure you can get it up. I said, no problem. Then he said, don't go and play your old tricks. That's President Kufuor. So I said, Kofi, what old tricks? Then he started laughing. He said, don't go and favor Accra House of Folk. I said, then you should not interfere when I'm working. And honestly, he gave me his promise, and he never interfered. That's President Kufuor. But, you know, to cut a long and short story, as I said, the FA has been there for years, since 1950-something, 1957 or so. Structures have been put up nicely, generation upon generation, until they got to our time. When I was appointed, Kwesi was my deputy. We worked very well. I have no problem with Kwesi at all. Till today, I don't have any problem with him. And then, of course, Kwesi was able to get himself to vice president of CAF, which is very good, very, very good for the country. And also, he has become, I think, FIFA
member of the FIFA executive.
Member of the FIFA executive. Another very good for the nation. Now, if you have been able to get to this level, what will, you know, who at all on earth should be able to trick you to come that low again? But his problem was, Kwesi wanted to connect football with politics. This is where his problem started. And if I had been close with him, I would have warned him.
But are they not connected? Many people seem to join the dots.
No.
Are siblings.
They can't be siblings. They can't be. And the way he went about it, I'm not surprised he failed.
How did he go about it?
No, but you know, I mean, the exposure can tell you. If you even want to get close to political power, that's not the way he should go about it. But he wanted to give the impression as if he was part of the ruling government. Do you understand me? Yes.
But certain comments had been passed, particularly by the FA president, suggesting that in the erstwhile NDC government, life was hell for the FA executive members, particularly, and that things are better now that the NPP are in office. Can't anybody draw a reference there or an inference there to suggest that, okay, perhaps he may be closer to the echelons of power, that's how come he's making such claims?
No, I have no problem at all being close to the, what do you call it, the political power. But don't try to use that political power to gain favors. And that was what he was trying to do.
He was being greedy?
I won't say he was greedy. I said to gain favors. It wasn't necessary, because he could have easily and genuinely got in touch with very good sponsors with real good money, not these pretenders. You follow me?
Yeah.
Yes. And what also surprised me was that it appeared, from what I see, that he was working independently from the executive of his own organization. And that was also very dangerous.
In your dealings with Kwesi Nyantakyi, who at the time you're saying was your deputy, did he come across as anybody who was desperate for power, for money?
No, I won't say so. But I've been asked this question on several occasions. When I was with him, himself and Fred Papo, the two of them were my best lieutenants. Kwesi didn't show any sign of inordinate ambition. I didn't say that, honestly. In fact, at a certain point when I was chairman of the Black Stars, what do you call it, committee, and I was also the chairman of the whole football organization, I felt it wasn't necessary. So I left that position. In fact, I resigned it and asked him to take over. Well, in those days, the chairman of the FA is also the chairman of the Black Stars committee. And I left that position for him to take over because I trusted him and I knew he can work, which he did a good job himself and Fred Papu. But I must also say one thing. I think Kwesi parting ways with Fred Papu for reasons not known to me might have caused some of these things too. But they were so close, and Fred is an experienced, matured person, although they are of the same age. And I don't think if he had been close with Fred Papu, he would have got himself in this sort of problem. But Fred is a great thinker. So these are some of the things. It's unfortunate. I really feel very, very sad for him. Where we've reached now with his case, nobody has been able, no court has come out with any sort of judgment on him. But if it had been me, I would have left the scene.
So
I would have resigned.
You'd suggest to him now?
Absolutely. I've suggested to that he should resign.
Resign as GFA president?
Absolutely. No. As GFA president, he can still hold the other positions. That depends on FIFA and CAF.
Why should he resign?
The man's name has been so badly bruised. You know. You follow me. You guys, at times, you ask questions that are not necessary. You are following the story. The man had been so badly bruised. His integrity is almost in tatters. The best thing is to resign. In any civilized country, that is what will be done. You follow me? Now, it's unfortunate the Ghanaian leader or a politician, right down from presidents, since I was a child, have not got the culture of resignation. No Ghanaian leader that I know has a culture of resignation. When things are bad, where in a civilized country, a leader will just take a pen and say, I've resigned. You can't find it anywhere in Africa.
But in this scenario, for instance, I've heard a lot of justification by a lot of people who seem to not necessarily back Nyantechi, but they seem to play a fair game, suggesting that if it's an inducement or you are entrapping me, I don't even want the money, but you are forcing me to get it.
No, I don't want to. These are things that should be discussed by lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. I heard one lawyer discuss this very interestingly on BBC. These are things that should be discussed by lawyers. You follow me? Because that's what I think they call agent provocateur. You follow me? So that's a method being used by the gentleman. Is it Anas? Eh?
Yes.
I have no problem with what he's doing. I have no problem at all. The only problem I have, not with him, but with his system, is that if you are able to do a very good work as an investigative journalist, for heaven's sake, that work is for the public, it's for the common man. Let the common man see it first. Do not allow any other person to have a look at it. That's the only difference I have with him. But then one will know that it's authentic.
The president's name was mentioned also, we are told. His ministers' names were mentioned.
No, I don't care whose name is mentioned. It wasn't only the president who saw it. I'm told President Mahama who saw it. President Rawlings who also saw it. President Kufuor also saw it. It is wrong. It is totally wrong. That alone tell you Anas can be compromised.
Really?
Don't ask me really. That's what I am thinking. Now, why should he release the tape to certain people? Now, if the president has been mentioned, what about the others? Were they mentioned in it? None of them was mentioned. But why should they also view it before the general public? And that is the only reason why I will never go there to have a look at that tape. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's compromised.
That leads me to ask this very question. There have been a lot of attacks on the personality, the modus operandi of Anas and the like. Kennedy Japan, for instance, has gone all out saying Anas is a rogue, he's criminal, and most of his acts are acts of blackmail, extortion, and the like, questioning his character and his credibility. As far as this particular documentary is concerned and all these other documentaries are concerned, would you go as far as suggesting that Kennedy may have a point?
I will not say so. I will not say so. That's what he feels or he thinks. If he has facts to support what he's saying, he should bring them out so I will see it. That's all that I will say on that. Well, if somebody is doing a job and you feel the person is not doing the job correctly, come out and let us know exactly why you feel the person is not doing the job correctly. If it's suspecting, it should come out with facts. Do you understand me? So that's all that I will say about that.
So as things stand now, government is saying that they are taking steps to dissolve the Football Association. Now, I'm looking at the implications such a decision may have on our local football and indeed football in Ghana generally. Would you say this is the right move, particularly at this time?
I would say the decision has been too hasty. If I were close to government, I would advise them to, to take their time a bit and see how, because the FA has a constitution, and see how the FA itself, there are a few people there still, in quote, clean ones, to see how they will be able to restructure the place.
Is it possible in a situation where the FA is described by your predecessor as a snake den, goes on to, I mean, a lot of people have
a snake pit.
A snake pit, yes. And you said you saw things yourself. The whole place seems...
No. Let's get one thing straight.
Perhaps we need a total...
No. Your question was whether it was right for government to settle.
Yes.
And I say it was a hasty decision by government. I would have preferred government took a little time and allow the FA. They have an executive there still.
Yes.
Some of them have not been tainted yet. You follow me? And see how they can use their constitution. That's the democratic way of doing things. What has been done there is a form of coup d'etat. To come out with a fiat that you are dissolving them, no. I don't believe that is the right thing to do. I would have advised that they should be allowed to use their own statutes, as they call them, to see whether they can come out of this mess. However, all those who have been exposed by the investigation should be immediately sacked. That can be done.
Including the FA president?
But that I have advised him to leave the scene.
Well, you are advising him to resign.
You follow me?
And based on the...
And even I went further, that if he's not leaving...
He should be sacked.
Listen to me carefully. Don't put words into my mouth. If he's not leaving, they have a constitution. Definitely the section of that constitution would definitely tell us how the leader can be removed from power.
A section of the constitution which I've read suggests that indeed if there's any breach of ethics, if someone doesn't necessarily go according to the ethics of the game, that person can be removed. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I said, I think with one of these media institutions, that's why I also said that government have been a bit too quick in taking that decision. Yeah. They should allow them, and it is when they are failing to sort of cleanse themselves that, you come in. Do you see it perhaps as, you described it as a coup earlier, do you see it as a face-saving tactic, for instance?
A face-saving tactic how?
For instance, the president's name was mentioned, several other people were mentioned. If your name was mentioned, and indeed when a few days back before the premiere of this thing, the president reported officially to the CID that Kwesi Nyantakyi be investigated, be picked up and investigated. And a lot of people suggested he was getting ahead of himself, and indeed was getting ahead of the entire situation, that he should have taken his time and not necessarily have ordered for the arrest of Mr. Nyantakyi and investigations into his acts, his alleged acts, let me put it that way. So in the minds of a number of people, the president or even indeed the presidency may be suffering a bit of credibility issues here. So they see an opportunity, they want to take advantage of it and give people hope or give people the impression that, you know what, we are not part of this. We want to cleanse the system.
No, by the closing the FA?
Yes.
No, but that's the more reason why I said it's a hasty decision. If my name has been mentioned as a leader there, I would rather keep a distance from them.
So that you are cleared, you are exonerated?
No, not that I am exonerated. The case has not gone to court yet, so I can't be exonerated. Do you understand me? But if I have nothing to fear, I won't just bother about them.
You think Ekufodo is scared of filmmaking?
But I don't know. Don't try to suggest that to me. I don't know. Whether he's scared or not, I don't know. You follow me? But I'm saying that particular decision to sort of dissolve the FA itself is a hasty decision, I believe.
What does this mean for Ghana football?
Oh, it means a lot. Now that they have done it, from what we have seen all over,
they're taking steps to do it.
I think they have come out with a formal letter on that.
Yes, and that's what the communication states.
The communication say they are taking steps.
That formal steps have been taken to dissolve the FA.
And as a journalist, what is the latest on the issue?
Well, that statement I'm referring to was released last night, so we are yet to get any update on that.
Well, then let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. If the statement, is followed by strong actions, then we can know what to do. Let's wait and see. As we talk now, because Ireland, they say they are going to explain to FIFA itself.
Yes.
So
we are told
which follows definitely they will write to FIFA on this sort of thing. But FIFA, as I know, definitely will not be comfortable with such a development. That doesn't mean that they are backing wrongdoing. Let's get that straight. That's why I also say maybe behind the scenes, if I were to be in government, I would have opened a channel with FIFA to brief them about the happenings here, and then what I have in mind of doing. It can be done. FIFA is an organization. You can talk to the head easily. They are very approachable. You follow me? That's what I would have probably done.
The information I've picked up so far suggests that once this thing is dissolved, as in the FA is dissolved, an interim committee will be set up, and they will be working by the government.
But that is where things will go wrong. Anyone who knows FIFA and its rules carefully will tell you. So if the person is sincere. Okay. But in this country, most people are not sincere.
So actually, the information that we have now suggests that the committee that will be set up will liaise with officials of FIFA to cleanse the system. Would that not be
I would have approached it the other way. I would have quietly have a connection with FIFA. Let them know what is happening. Whilst I wait for the FA itself, the executive here, to see how they can clean their own mess. You see, now, if you set up a committee, FIFA can say, we are not going to accept it. Yeah. It's very possible.
That's very true.
But if you go there quietly, and it is done. This same Kwesi Nyantakyi came to power through a memo that I sent to FIFA, said Blatter. And that was what really caused the problem with me, between myself and the FA. That the leadership of the FA, my suggestion was that it should be elective. Even though I was appointed, I said no. But if it becomes elective, then you have some sort of democratic procedures there. Do you understand me? Well, people have to vote for the leader.
Yeah.
Now, I came out with a memo, sent it to FIFA. I remember very well. And they were quiet on it for a while. After I've left the scene, they brought the same thing that I sent to them and asked them to implement it. And that's how you have the FA president elected and other executives elected.
So some have suggested that very situation we have now is the more reason why people who want to annex the presidency of the FA now have to look for money to campaign in a way. And that's, we should go back to the previous system where the president may nominate, say, 2 or 3 people. I mean, Kwabena Japan has suggested that he thinks it would be better if the president nominated about 2 or 3 people and then the FA decided on one of them as the president.
No. I remember, I know Kwabena very well. That to him is a good, he's been in football also for years. I don't think that is the right procedure. It's just like saying that, well, the FA democratic experiment started just recently. Kwesi has been in power for, I think, 15 years or so. 30. You follow me? Now, if at this stage you think it's a failure, it's just like saying that the new democratic dispensation that we have as a nation now, after a while we see that things are not going on, then we should go back to dictatorial regime. No, that one is dictatorial, what he's talking about. And I will not accept that. Let them pick their own leaders. I think you follow me?
Yeah.
They have, I keep on saying they have a constitution. The only thing wrong that they did was that the election of the leader was timeless. You follow me? And that was a big mistake. Why the lawyers didn't see through that, I'm surprised. Whether it should be either 1 term, 2 term, 3 terms. Fair enough. But you can run as you think fit.
There's no limit on...
No limit at all, which is very wrong. And that is what is worrying them also now.
When I was younger, I remember I used to go to the stadium at times to go watch football, and it was so lovely. The place was almost always packed. Even getting access to the stadium was a problem. Several years down the line, and since you left the scene, I would say, the standard, according to many, seems to have dropped so low. There's even not much to look forward to when the El Clasico, Kotoko, is playing Accra as a folk. I mean, how does that happen?
No, you mentioned to me just 3 names of Kotoko footballers, outstanding footballers. Let mention them.
As things stand now, I can't mention current players, but I
no, not current one. No, I'm not talking about current ones.
There have been Nana Hindia, there has been Chenche Hine, there's been Adai, several of them.
No, these gentlemen you mentioned, they got skills. Listen to me carefully. One is attracted to a particular match because one wants to see the skills of the individual. You follow me? And the gentleman you mentioned, for instance, Razak. Have you seen Razak playing football before?
Yes, I did. I saw it.
Have you seen Osei Kofi playing football before?
Kofi, yes, I did.
Have you seen Baba? You will not know Baba Yara.
No. I don't know, but I...
These are footballers with skills. We don't have them now. Then come to Hasselhoff. You see a person like Adodamiti on the ball, central defender. I mean, these are people you have to watch because it's beautiful seeing them. You see a person like Amadou Akuse. You see a person like Agrifin. I mean, these are footballers with skills. We don't have them now. That's why people are no more interested. They prefer to watch European matches because the players with skills are there.
So you think it's about the lack of talent that you don't
Absolutely. But you see, it's unfortunate. Maybe they don't have the films at the GBC. But let them show some of the films of the past Black Star footballers. Now we have a Black Star that you have to bribe your way to get in there. I mean, it has been shown. Do you understand me? So nobody will.
You don't think it's about management? Because indeed.
No. No, listen. Management. If management is able to organize a match to be played, that itself is enough. Well, management will not drag supporters to come to the stadium, or footballers. Will not drag spectators to come to the stadium. They will come at their own free will. Look at matches that we watch on European televisions. Fully packed stadium. And what is interesting is that anyone you see there has paid. And this is what helps the clubs.
So how do they do it? Because
if you ask me how they do it.
No, because if I'm just looking at this, if it's about talent, of course, there were better players. There have been better players in Europe. They have left the scene. New ones have come. How was that done?
But if you watch also, theirs is continuous. Here, the spectator strength is dwindling. Do you understand me? So that tells you, because look, recently, let's be very recent, Mo Mohammed. What is it? Mo Mohammed was Mo Salah. Mo Salah has been able to draw a lot of people to the television. I'm telling you, if he's playing, even I myself, if that boy is playing, I just stop whatever I'm doing and watch the TV. So if we have one Mo Salah in Ghana now, like we had years ago, it will draw people to the stadium. But we don't have now.
How do we fix that problem?
Look, I think the first thing that we have to do, we have been pushing inexperienced small boys to Europe. Formerly, you get into a club, a young man, you get matured, you get experience before a club looks for you outside. But now, I think some of them even from second division, they travel to Europe. They become bench warmers, and when they get frustrated, they run around in Asia, and most of them, are there doing nothing. So we find out how to stop that. And I think these are some of the areas that Kwesi should have looked at carefully, but unfortunately maybe he ignored it. Well, we have a problem with that, a big problem. Now, all the footballers we have in the Blaster, as I talk to you now, they played a match in Iceland, I think, yesterday. Yeah. They are footballers outside the country. Not a single one of them is a homegrown product. So all this will tell you that we have a problem.
That's worrying.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Even when I was FA president, it wasn't so. Most of the boys were local boys. When I was in the FA, then Asamoah got into the Blasters also. Himself and I think his brother also, one brother of his. No, it's not like that anymore. And that can only be done by people who are really interested in doing the job.
Will Ghanaians ever find expressions of love for the sports we used to hold in high esteem so much? Will Ghanaians ever come back to loving football as much as we used to, particularly after all these things that have come?
Oh, they will. I don't think everything is lost yet. No. If we get talented footballers, as I've said earlier on, they will draw people to the game. In this country, you'll be surprised. If by tomorrow Kotoko gets about 2-3 talented footballers, House of Oaks similar thing, you see what will happen.
They say it's because we mismanaged football in Ghana. That's how come the coach system, for instance, is non-existent anymore. And
what do you mean by what do you mean by we mismanage football in this country?
So football management in Ghana has not focused on developing talent. It's always been on just the elites. And indeed, many of these people who manage these who find themselves in management positions at the FA are people who have their own academies, for instance. So would rather have the people come to their academies and then they can sell them off to some club somewhere in Europe and make some more money, rather than their main objective is to make money, not to develop serious talents. Do you understand me? Mm-hmm. Because even if he gets 100,000 cities, some even less, he pushes the boy away when the boy is not really matured. Do you understand me?
So the so-called football managers who have brought us into this sort of situation, I will not put much of the blame on the GFA. You follow me? The GFA maybe can control it, but you can't force the boy to stay. Do you understand me? But if we are able to convince him that, look, stay a bit and get probably used to things here. So when you get into the outside world, you can. For instance, one of our boys left, House of Folk boys, I haven't forgotten the name now. He was a defender. Okay. I will not call him an exceptional player. And as I talk to you now, he's just in Europe doing nothing. If he had been here, he would have had the club to push up. And he will get definitely a bigger exposure. So these are some of the reasons. It's serious.
It's been. We've taken a detour. We've spoken a lot about sport, about sports and about the FA and the like. But you're also a politician, and you used to be very, very vociferous. You used to criticize your very own members of the NPP, and some say.
No, I was criticizing Rawlings a lot.
Yes, I remember that as well.
We had a big battle of Rawlings in those days. Myself, Samuel Brothers, and some of the guys I don't even. Kwashiga and others.
What many people say is that if you're able to criticize your own, then of course you should be able to criticize anybody and everybody. And that's one of the attributes a lot of people say you had. And you were very forward-looking and tried as much as possible to say things as they were. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You've criticized the president on several occasions. I mean, when he was even flag bearer, or when he was a flag bearer hopeful, up until now.
I was one of his closest allies. If you go into...
You and Nana Akufo-Addo?
Then you don't know NPP.
No, I didn't know you were that close to him.
You see myself and Ali Muhammad there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'll show you a picture of myself and Nanado.
Oh. How come that is not on your wall?
Oh, I have it. I have it.
You're not showcasing that?
I have it. I definitely have it. I have it. I can show it to you later. Or it might be on one.
Are you on terms with him now?
I have no problem with him. The only time we had, I won't call it misunderstanding, the only time I took a step back was when the former elected chairman of the party was how do you call it, suspended.
Are you talking about Paul Afoko?
Paul Afoko. And also the suspension of Kwabena Ajapong. And that almost immediately followed that of Sammy Crab. I mean, these are elected figures. People voted for them. And I believe if you want to get rid of them, I mean, there's a way you can do that. We have a constitution.
You think Akufo-Addo wanted to get rid of them?
No, but don't ask me whether I think he wanted to get rid of them. The people are no more in their seats.
But that was a decision.
And I was not the cause of it. You see?
That was a decision taken by the party, not by Akufo-Addo.
Now listen. You see, that is where you young ones cannot get anywhere with this sort of attitude. You have to fix facts. When it is wrong, it is wrong.
But what are the facts of the
You follow me?
Because
now, if I am the leader of the party, Nanado was the leader of the party then, flag bearer and leader of the party. If he found anything wrong with them, or he didn't find anything wrong with them, they wouldn't have been dismissed, or they wouldn't have been suspended. Don't talk as if you are talking to a small boy. I know. Listen to me. He was the leader of the party. You follow me?
He wouldn't have gone through with the decision without his consent.
Absolutely. I mean, people who have been elected, Afoko, Kwabena Ajapong, Crab, and even it's followed that people from other regions or regional constituencies were also suspended.
That's true.
As I speak to you now, I'm a suspended member of the party.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
You follow me? But that really doesn't bother me because there are a lot of others. And I know there are people in the party who are not comfortable with it. I know. There are a lot of elderly people who are not comfortable, but they are not talking about it, surprisingly.
Why are they not talking?
I don't know. We have always been pretending in this country. Pretending. When the thing is bad, say it's bad. We keep on pretending. And by doing that, we fool our leaders. They think they are doing well. Look at what happened with the NDC, I don't know, June 4th. I mean, a whole person, a lady, to go and kneel before somebody, begging him. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Even the sycophancy, that's the word.
Anita de Soso was just being
sycophancy. And what was even interesting is that the person you want to plead with had his what do you call it, face somewhere. He wasn't even looking at you. Sycophancy at the highest level. That is what is creeping into our society, and it is dangerous. If we are not able to say, look, you are wrong. Now look at the way they behave. Look at the sort of attacks what Trump has been having from his own party members. Unbelievable. Can that happen in this country?
You think that leaders want to be above reproach, particularly in specific reference to Nana Akufo-Addo? He doesn't want to be criticized?
No, I'm not going to sort of talk about Nana. That has been the habit of most of our leaders.
Is he an exception?
There's no exception.
He's not an exception?
You say who is not an exception?
Nana Akufo-Addo is not an exception?
No. Listen, I said our leaders, maybe right down from independence, have been behaving the same way. They don't want to be told, look, you are going wrong here, come this way. They got annoyed. Right down from Nkrumah's time. Kwame Nkrumah had a lot of advice how to handle certain things, but he thought that people were against him. It did happen. It happened from Nkrumah to Ankara, from Ankara to Buzia. I mean, some of these things are so, how shall I put it? They are so clear that if people don't see it, it worries me. For instance, when during Buzia's time, and they wanted to appoint a one brigade commander. I don't know whether you know the military structure.
Yeah, a bit.
One brigade commander is the one who is in charge of Southern Command, if I'll say so. They brought the name of late Achampong. Listen to me carefully. And then Buzia was advised that Achampong cannot be given command at that level. We didn't care. He didn't care at all. He went and appointed Achampong. Indeed, when Achampong was appointed, he was a half colonel. He wasn't a full colonel. By then, he was already holding command for 5 battalion in Burma camp. So here you are, one person holding a command at 5 battalion, and then the same person you put in position in charge of Southern Command. How can't he remove you? He can remove you easily.
That's what he did.
And that's exactly what Achampong did. A bloodless coup. You follow me? If Buzia had listened, if he was advised, you can't tell me what, I got access to the documents. I saw it. He was advised. And we have had leaders like that, leaders being advised, and they will not do anything. Leaders being advised, they will not do anything. You follow me? So these are some of the problems.
Look, we spoke about corruption, particularly in the football administration and GFA. Now, let's talk about corruption in politics. And in a day, the president dismissed 4 chief executive officers of some state-owned institutions. The GPHA boss, the GEPA boss, we had Kolebu, also we are told, and then one other I don't really recall. 4 of them gone, and over one act of corruption or the other. Of course, these remain allegations, and they are.
I'm glad you said the allegations. The government has not come out with what they really did. You see, if you want to shame people, come out with what they have done. You follow me? And that will even stop the rumor machine.
Okay.
Yeah, come out, say that this person
is being sacked for A, B, and C.
Exactly. This is done in civilized countries. This is the way it's done. Come out. If it's about incompetence, come out and talk about it. If it's about fraud or something, come out and talk about it so that the public will know. But here you are, people have been removed from their posts or their position, really and nothing. Yes. I mean, what sort of society are we getting in now?
I think it's a smoke screen.
Smoke screen. That is my problem with leadership in this country. Not this present leadership. It has been there for years. For years. You dismiss a person, let the people look. I was in the military. If a report is written about you, that's one thing. I don't know whether they have changed it now. That's your annual report by your senior officer. They give it to you to read.
So you get to know what exactly.
Exactly. That's one thing I learned in the military.
Transparency.
Transparency. They give the report to you to read. So you don't have anything against the person who read it. And believe me, when I was in the military, when I was writing reports about people, the previous reports that have been written is exactly what the person is. Unbelievable. Why can't we do that here? If you say somebody is bad and you have removed him or her from a position, give us reasons why the person shouldn't be part of the public service.
Perhaps then
that will let us learn a lot.
Then maybe we need a change in our constitution, because the constitution just says the president has the prerogative to hire and fire.
No, this has nothing to do with the constitution. The individual in charge has a right. He can start it. Exactly. Exactly. Let the public know that because of A, B, C, D, you know. For instance, look at Dr. Anya's problem in Kolebu. Yeah. I learned there's a strike there and whatnot. But if you let them know why Anya has been removed, I'm sure they
actually that's why they are protesting. They say they want to.
There you are.
Why he was
I mean, give the reasons. There must be reasons why you remove the person.
Perhaps the president feels his expertise may be better served elsewhere.
What are you talking about? Look, these are some of them.
But is it a possibility that maybe the president feels that...
Don't talk for the president. You are not his spokesperson. Don't try and think for him either.
But these are possibilities.
You follow me? If there are possibilities, he's an experienced person. Now he's an experienced person. He's been in this terrain for years. We've been there for years. You follow me? All I'm saying is that if you have removed somebody, come out with a reason why the person should be removed. All those who have appointed and removed, I don't know any of them. I don't know them even in the party. You follow me? Oh yeah, I don't know them.
Gifty Klenam, she was an MP.
I say I don't know her.
Paul Ansa?
I don't know him. I don't know him.
Alfred Obeng, the boss.
I don't know him.
We're told he was a financier, even in the 2016 campaign, he gave a lot of money, according to Kennedy report.
Hello.
Or there are people who just came in just to do one or two things to get some influence and political power.
Let's stop there. Let's stop that. Let's stop that.
Okay.
We're going to go on other things.
How do you assess the government so far? It's been 18 months.
18 months is a long period in politics or in governance. What do you mean by 18 months?
Professor Ade says it's too short.
18 months?
Yes.
The governance is continuity. You don't have to create a new. You can come with a new policies and whatnot. The policy they came out with free education, they say they are implemented. So we wait and see. You follow me? And there are all other things. There are, unfortunately, other areas that they talk about, I think, one district, one factory and whatnot. That I have not heard of anything so far. But I think let's give them the chance to work. Let's give them.
Are they on course?
Let's give them the chance to work.
Are they on course?
I cannot tell you whether they are on course. I'm not an inspector. I'm not an inspector. If they are on course, they know it. If they are on course, they know it. Nowadays is a very sharp person. If he's on course, you know it. And if he's not on course, he knows it.
There are reports he met his appointees and reprimanded a number of them for non-performance, for which reason information available, not confirmed by the presidency or anybody in power, the information available suggests that a number of ministers and deputies may be leaving the scene. He appointed 110 already. I think 3 have fallen off the block. We are told the numbers may be cut down to about 90 by the end of July. Do you think that will be the way to go?
Well, he's a president. He will appoint and dismiss if he wants to. What I will say is that initially I thought he will have which he said himself, that he's going to have a very slim cabinet, a slim, So I was surprised when we got to that high figure of 100 plus, But as I say, he's an experienced politician. He might have sat back and watched things carefully. He feels, it's time for him to sort of drop some, move on with the others. Yeah, that's his right to do. But I remember I was interviewed by this lady Apia from Joy TV. Gifty Ando Apia, yeah. And I told her that it's a bit too early to criticize the government now. However, there are certain ministries that have been created that I thought were not necessary.
Which ministries are these?
One, for instance, Ministry of Zongo, is it Zongo Affairs or what do you call it?
Zongo Development.
Zongo Development is not necessary. It can be put on that, what do you call it, under one of the ministries. And if the minister is good, he will cover everywhere. Right now, I don't even know whether the minister has an office. I don't even know. And these things are a bit disturbing, but unfortunately, if you talk about it, it appears as if you are against them. So
that's why you stopped talking?
Oh, no one can stop me from talking. But if you mention it once, it's enough. Do you follow me?
But do they listen when you speak?
I don't know.
Because you have a lot of experience, and
I don't know.
You've been with them for a long time.
I know the party. As a party, I know the party very well. I know the party. And
so do they listen to you? Do they even seek your counsel at all?
No, what I'm saying is that I can probably talk. I will say what I feel it should be. They have a right to accept or not to. You follow me? I don't have to go there and talk to anybody. There are a lot of people, they can take advice from this country who are probably better than me in thinking. Do you understand me? So, when somebody is governing, that's what I have noticed in Africa. It's a big difference from when he's in opposition. It's quite clear. So allow him to govern, or allow them to govern.
So at the end of the day, we'll judge them based on their own decisions over
Absolutely, and their performance. Absolutely.
Will you ever, in the interest of Ghana and the NPP, work with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
No, he is the head of state now.
Yes. So if he's
as I said on the program with Ando Apia, I've seen a lot in politics. Politics is not my profession. I'm a physician by profession. I take politics as an occupation. Do you understand me? So I can leave it anytime I choose.
Are you leaving?
I say I can leave it anytime I choose.
Are you leaving?
So I have decided not to be on the front line of politics anymore. That's why you don't see me on the front line.
So you can be maybe on, how do we call it, Council of Elders or something?
No, I can rather be. I'm not a member of the Council of Elders, and I don't want to be a member of the. You see, where you have a situation where you cannot express your views openly. I don't want to get into those type of groups at all.
I think members of the Council of Elders currently cannot express.
That's not what I'm saying. Don't suggest that to me either. Do you understand me? Yeah. I know myself that if there's a leader and it's going wrong, I would like to say it. Do you understand me? Yeah. And that is done in a lot of civilized countries. But unfortunately for us, it doesn't happen that way in Africa. Anywhere in Africa, almost the same. You follow me? For instance, even the interview I granted Joy from yesterday, somebody came at once upon to write a long story about it, criticizing me. But it doesn't worry me. It doesn't worry me at all. I don't even know him, but it doesn't worry me. You see?
So you won't serve as a member of the Council of States?
I don't want to get into frontline politics anymore. Full stop. I'm not interested. There are a lot of young people coming. That, just let them get.
But they do not have the experience you have. They've not seen.
No, if they learn well.
Who is to teach
on that? We have a lot of. I'm not the only senior person in the party.
Any people?
No, I'm not grooming anybody.
Why not?
The party. See, the party is there. The party has structures. You follow me? I mean, for instance, the present mayor of Accra now, I've known him as a young man. He's been climbing nicely to go to where it is. Very good. Who else do I know in that government? There are quite few of them whom we have been able to work with. You follow me? Allow them to work. Allow them. I'm not coming to the forefront of politics.
Ever again?
No. I have retired entirely. I'm not interested even now. But I'll criticize when I find it necessary. That's all. Like it's done in a lot of civilized countries. You don't have to be a member of the party, or you can be a member of the party, but yet you can criticize. It was done to Trump recently. His own Republican got on the platform of a Democratic Party, Clinton, and criticized Trump. I saw it on telly. So, but that is what we can't accept in this country, and it surprises me. But if you are able to criticize your own, then the outsider, you know what to do with him. Do you understand me?
Yes, I do. Doc, thank you so much for
your
time today on 21 Minutes with KKB. Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe has been our guest on 21 Minutes with KKB, and indeed some very revealing things we've heard on the show today. I'm particularly interested in that portion where there appears to be a number of snakes on the GFA. I don't know whether they are still there and whether they have enough venom in them to
you'll be true
at this particular point in time. But whatever the case may be, we are still following developments keenly as far as that expose by Anas, Mayor Anas, is concerned. My name is Kwabena Chencheni Boating. Thank you for your company. I'll see you soon, hopefully with another guest you're expecting.